You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 6th meeting of the Michigan City Human Rights Commission. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right. Roll call.
Albertine Allen. Sojourner Atwater. Here. Dennis Carroll. Marty Corley. Greg Holter. Bunny Dimke. Here. Diana Gore.
Here.
Jamie Lorenz. Here. Mercedes McMullen. Jessica O'Brien. Mary Ellen Quinn. Here. And Tyra Robinson Walker. So we do not have a quorum. So I'm assuming we will commence the meeting, but no votes will be taken.
Just an informational meeting.
Gotcha. Okay.
Great. So, we'll talk about the approval of the May 8th meeting.
We can ask if anyone has any changes, corrections or changes. And we'll try to remember to vote on it next month.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Anything? So, we'll start on then with the financial report.
There's been the current balance in the Treasury for the Human Rights Commission is $7,419.95, which represents a $200 disbursement for the PFLAG sponsorship, the Pride Fest, which was approved at the last meeting. So that's a difference of $200 down from $7,619.95 in the previous month.
All right. All right. Executive Director's report.
Okay. For the month of May, we had 49 contacts. We're getting a lot of foot traffic where there's people that come in with different complaints or questions or concerns. 5 were housing, 9 were employment, 3 we referred to the EEOC because it's out of our jurisdiction. Then for us, in our office, there were 9. Other agencies sent them to other agencies, 18, and legal, there were 5. Then the Indiana Consortium of state and local agencies had a Zoom meeting on May 18, and they were trying to decide, do we have an annual conference every year? And when I would go back in the minutes and look back at the paperwork, it seemed like it was always active, but then I think COVID did a lot to stop that. And so they took a consensus. We had people on the meeting from Anderson, Bloomington, Columbus, Evansville, Fort Wayne, Gary, Hammond, Kokomo, Michigan City, Muncie, South Bend, and Terre Haute. And the consensus was have one every other year. Then the off year, it would be done by webinars. So they voted on that, and that was the consensus as of now. And then the Indiana Civil Rights Commission Annual Conference, I brought some information if anybody's interested. I did register, but I registered to attend it online. So I won't get a swag bag or anything like that, but that's okay. I didn't want to be out of the office for 3 days. But it is June 19, 20, and 21 in Indianapolis. And so I do have a list of speakers. It looks really interesting. They have a list of a schedule of what different items are going to discuss different topics. So if anybody wants to join me, you're always welcome during those days. Or I did ask if they could at least maybe send me some information as well, so I could share with all of you if you would like that as well. And I believe that's all that I have. And I just just want to thank those of you that are help me when I need it. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the consortium, did they decide whether they're gonna have an in-person meeting this year?
No.
So this year is gonna be Zoom.
Well, they may not even do it, they're working on that, and that's only because normally, I think they said, and those of you that know, is it normally in June or July?
Only in summer.
Well, last year, it was in November, and
Okay.
they had it in South Bend, I believe, and that they had to scramble to get it all done, and they didn't make a lot of money, and there were some negative comments made, and you know, that this could have been better, and this could have been better, and which was, I kind of felt sorry for South Bend, because like I said, I just think that COVID put a strain on a lot of stuff for people to participate and come together. And anyway, they decided, I don't believe they're doing anything this year.
Okay, yeah, it was supposed to be in Michigan City, and it got
At Blue Chip.
along,
Mhm.
a couple of times due to COVID, and then they thought about Zoom, but then they eventually, we had missed, Tanisha had resigned, and so we didn't have an executive director, and so then they moved it to South Bend. But I had not heard how it went, so nothing yet this year, and we'll wait to hear about next year.
Yes, 2024 will be in person. I at least know that much.
Okay.
So, and they were asking for anybody to want to host it, and nobody spoke up yet.
Okay, that's what I was wondering too, because since
Nobody
we got
spoke up yet.
skipped, I was wondering whether they would want to come back to us. And I, just because some people are new here, including the executive director,
Yes.
it's a lot of
A
work
lot of
to
work,
put on.
and there's only one person in that office, where when we did the consortium before, there were three. So I think all of us need to keep that in mind.
And it went very well.
Yes, it did.
But it was just a ton of work, and the people on staff at the time said, no way are we ever doing it again.
Right.
And that was with 3 people, so I, just my personal opinion, we're probably too small of an organization to
Yeah.
host it.
Right.
When they were gonna do it last year at Blue Chip, I guess they were gonna try to do it mostly themselves, and we were just gonna assist
Right.
a
Okay.
little. So if that would be the case, I would just urge you not to, because at one point Carl Riddle was on that, he was the chair of that board, and so I'm just, it's a wonderful program.
Yes, it
I love
is.
going to it. Diana and I went once when we
Yes,
was
it
in Indianapolis,
is.
and I've gone to South Bend, and I've gone to Hammond, and obviously I went when it was here. It's a wonderful program, but I think we are probably a little bit too small, because the commissioners need to get involved to try to help if we're gonna run the whole show. I don't know what they were gonna do with Blue Chip last year, but that proved to be too much when we didn't have an executive director. So, but just keep it in mind, and maybe, I think it's a good idea that they're gonna do it every other year, because it was just too much. And it's probably better for South Bend and Lafayette and Indianapolis to host them, because they're bigger. We're just too small.
Sometimes it's a little
But as Larry mentioned, it was a beautiful program.
Yes, yeah.
There was something, and I was new with it. I was stepping in there and didn't know what to do, just like I didn't know what to do here. But you learn so much.
Yeah, that was the main thing, and commissioner tracks,
So
and then they had staff tracks, so you could attend whichever sessions you wanted to attend. It was over a multiple day. It was part social, because they would have dinners and lunch, and it was very nice, but a lot of work.
I enjoyed it, I really did.
Good.
All right, so next is staff attorney report.
And I have nothing to report.
Larry has nothing. Committee reports, Finance Committee,
Probably
Okay.
already reported it.
Development Fundraising Committee,
No report.
no report. Education Committee,
I will go ahead and speak on that if I may. We had 5 applicants for Judy Huber Scholarship. and 4 for the Hawkins-Williams Scholarship, Educational Scholarship. And so the people on the committee, I'm sorry, Soldier, I could have let you speak, I
Oh,
apologize.
no, that's okay, you're fine, you're fine.
And,
You sent it out via email, so I did print those and I have.
okay, good, because I brought some copies just in case, but it's you, so, Marty and Jessica, correct? Yeah,
Correct, yes.
Great.
And I don't think that, I'm sorry.
So we did at least get some scholarships, some applicants, right? Yes, yes.
But I don't think there's been a time to establish, for us to go over and review and then choose the people we think, fit the criteria. So I think that's the last thing that we need to do is just set a time, so we can review all the applications and then choose a winner from each category.
Excellent.
That's pretty good though, because in the past, we maybe had one essay, and so, you know, you had your choice of one, so that's pretty good that we got 4 and 5, I think. You know, it's a,
Much more. We used to get in
we
the
used to get a
teens.
lot, but
Yeah, but that's all right.
kids today,
Yeah.
a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think it's a,
All right. That's education. How about the committee for the engagement committee? Community, I'm sorry.
let's see, Gregory's not here.
Yep. Yep. We're gonna have to really work on this. All right, how about old business? Matthew? All right, I'm sorry I missed last meeting, but I didn't wanna come in and start sneezing on you.
Thank you.
All right, now, new business. I met a gentleman that has a program called Karate Do. And his name's Mr. Holman. He's on Michigan Boulevard, I'm sorry, on Franklin Street, right here, 1804 Franklin Street. And he starts, I think, with the age of 3. I believe it's 3. And he goes from there, so I brought this just to show you. He's willing to come in and discuss it with us, and I just thought this would be great for us when we're talking about our little kids and what we can do for them. My great-grandson, all of a sudden now I'm having to watch because I'm getting a judo chop or whatever he calls it when I walk in the room, so I'm fighting back now. He hasn't even started yet. But this one is, they get their uniform and they come in and they start their lessons. And I just think that it's a wonderful opportunity for some of our children. And he's going to, I told him that I would give him, there's some dates and he can come in and discuss it with us.
Excuse me, why would he discuss it with the human rights? I don't get the, I mean, I think it's wonderful, but I don't get the tie-in.
What's that? I'm sorry, and I didn't hear that.
I don't get the tie-in with the commission. I think sounds like a good program, but why does he want to present it to the commission?
Yes. So, but he's, am I hearing it right?
Thing for community.
Well, it's community engagement. I mean, what are we're just probably talking about coming in and talking to the commission for 5 minutes or something like that.
Right.
Just as an activity that's going on in the community.
I just think that we're gonna have to start opening up a little bit more and doing a little bit more for the community.
Okay, all right, so
Certain
that makes
things we
sense. I
have
just
and we do
wanted-
every year, but, you know, get with the kids and get with other groups. And I thought this would be a wonderful start with that.
Thank you.
All right. The next one is, what's that? Commissioner's comment. Am I there?
I have
Hi.
just something I want to mention, because I haven't been doing too much work as disability rights committee person. I just wanted to bring, it came to my attention through a program I watched, and I just wanted to share that a lot of the everyday items that we take for granted and we all use started out as being developed for people with disabilities. For instance, and I just picked 3 here, audiobooks, which of course we all enjoy or can all enjoy. The electric toothbrush was originally developed for people with motor skills. And then our good friend Alexa and her siblings' voice recognition application was started. I mean, it was originated with the thought of helping people with disabilities. So,
Thank you, that's interesting. Yeah. I love both of them except that Alexa, I'm sorry, she creeps me out. My kid said, do you want one of these things? I said, no, I'm not gonna be talking to the air. But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. No public comments?
Before we adjourn, do we want to discuss the meeting dates that we, I think, brought up before? It's coming up here now, so next month, July 4th will be the Tuesday. I know there's only 5 of us here, but
July 6th.
did we decide on?
The other day
I
after,
believe it was July, let me see.
5th was on your.
I'm sorry,
was on your
July
side.
5th, it's July 5th, not the day before, not on the 3rd, because people are gonna be gone.
Okay, so that's the Wednesday,
Yes, July
5th.
5th.
And then we discussed the
Not
November.
November. But
So,
the.
next month, the meeting will be July 5th
Or after.
I'm gonna give myself another one.
due to the holiday.
Sure, sure.
So,
so are we bumping to the following Tuesday or
It'll be July
The
5th,
next day.
the next
the
day?
day after.
Well,
Yeah.
not the next day.
Get up from the
The
beach.
next day.
Mhm.
Yeah, July 4th, July 5th.
So we're gonna meet on
What day is
July
July 4th?
5th.
I checked the availability of the room, and that worked better than the following week. Yeah.
all right, we have Education Committee, there was nothing more to discuss. LGBTQA Subcommittee, Social Status of African American,
Yes,
Males.
not here.
Yep, Dennis.
nothing.
We're done.
I think we're up to
All the old
adjournment.
business,
Yep,
We're up
that's
to
it.
adjournment.
Yep.
yes, we are. So, do we have anything else we would like to
Done.
discuss?
Yeah, I have a question with the LGBTQ event like we had down at the park last year. Are they having an event there?
Pride Fest.
When is that?
June, let me see what date it is. I believe it's June,
Here it says June 17.
that's Saturday, right? Because I was also thinking that there's a Juneteenth celebration as well, right? That one is on actual Monday, the 19th, right, Andy, do you know, do you remember that? Yeah, so there's those two, and this weekend is a sand sculpting contest, if anybody would like to go down there. 3 days at the beach, so,
Supposed to be
yeah,
nice weather.
Yep.
Not too hot.
Madam President, I have a question for Diane. You know, you mentioned that there were 5 inquiries about housing. Yeah, for people coming to your office. Can you expound on that a little bit? Was it like renters or?
yes,
Complaints.
yes,
Complaints,
yes.
correct?
yes. Let's see, okay. An individual came in and said that she was being evicted, but when I looked it up in my case, she was served paperwork. But when I looked it up in my case, neither her name nor the landlord was in my case. So to me, maybe this was not a true document that she was served. So I just take her information
Yeah,
and she had a lease. There's different scenarios or different issues that have come up with that. Now, there was another person who wasn't paying rent because nothing was being fixed. So, we got it settled, but I just take their information for them. So that was.
so in a case like that, what do you do, Diane? I mean, if somebody says, hey, I'm not paying the rent, but because the landlord's not fixing my sink or what have you, How
Well,
do you get involved with
Well,
that?
I had attended for 2 hours, I went across the street to the library where they had a free seminar for people to attend for housing. It was 4 hours. They had a representative there in South Bend. She came from South Bend. South Bend. It was legal aid.
Oh, legal services.
Legal services from South Bend, and they were there for 4 hours for anybody to come in and talk to them. And so I just sat there and listened. And then I talked to the lady afterwards, she's an attorney, and she said, if you don't pay, you don't have a right to stay, regardless if something's not fixed or not. If you're not paying, you cannot stay. And then one of the people that were there that I had heard, she was in one of our homeless shelters, and they wanted her out of the homeless shelter. So they paid, I believe, for her to go stay at the housing authority. They paid up front for her to stay in maybe a house that the housing authority owns. And then she wasn't paying there. So, again, she explained to her, if you don't pay, you don't stay. And so I just, usually I refer them to legal services because that's usually where they need to go to next.
Okay.
But can I just jump right in here? Obviously, in our ordinance, there's a section for housing where we have dealt with complaints where they will come before us as a board. And I can remember, we didn't get a lot of them, but we got a couple of them.
Yes.
Remembering that, I remember when I sat and reviewed one, and this office, I think, is supposed to mediate. That's what we did, we mediated. We got the landlord's story and the renter's story, and then we ruled on it.
Yep,
Maybe I can clarify.
okay.
We can take housing cases, but there has to be some type of discrimination involved. Now,
Oh, okay, and there was discrimination in this particular one too.
it could be for disability, it could be for
Right,
race, it could be
right,
for having a family, and any of the reasons.
Right.
So that's normally when we would get involved. If it's just conditions, that our ordinance does not
Okay,
cover
all right.
merely
You're right there.
conditions.
Okay.
The legal services attorney would know better than
Yes.
me. The only thing that I've kind of tried to do on some of those things is if they pay their money, their rent, into a trust account or a bank account so that they can show to the court that I've been paying rent, I've got it in this trust account, we'll give it to the landlord if and when these conditions have been met. I've tried to do that. Now, maybe she sounded rather adamant that you had to pay it to the landlord. Indiana is horrible on renters protection, but
Landlords have the right.
yeah, but we don't have anything to do with that. People always come in here, obviously they don't know what our ordinance says.
Right.
But
Right.
those people would get sent to legal services.
Okay.
And apparently, I'm really glad to hear that they've sent somebody here because I don't think they've done that in a while, and it's good that,
She said she would come and speak to us anytime.
good, that might be
Yeah, that
something,
would be
might be something that we would like to have done. Now, again, we could try to conciliate any kind of case that we get, but if there's attorneys involved, if it doesn't fall within the ordinance, we can't do anything about
Well,
it.
Don, maybe you'd like to speak. There's something that's been in front of the council that they want landlords, property owners to register their properties. And I think from what I could get from what was talked about, it's for the protection of the tenants and the landlords. But I mean, we can deal with some of those, as you say, Larry, when they come to discriminations involved.
Correct.
Okay, I was just curious what the issues were, and how they were resolved. Okay.
There was another lady that was with the housing authority, and she left, and she was living somewhere else, but she was sent a letter stating that they were gonna keep her deposit. And she came to me because she felt that that wasn't right. She felt she left the place in good condition, that why did they keep her deposit? So I put her in touch with somebody from the housing authority, because that wouldn't have been, I didn't see the discrimination,
Yeah.
or I just told her to.
Did she get her money, do you know, Diane? Did she get her money?
I do not know.
Okay.
I do not know. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I mean, at least you give these people an outlet to,
And then there was another
Try to
one, there was
help 'em.
another one that was at apartment complex south of the city, in Michigan City, south. And if you have two bottom apartments and then two on top and two on top, I'm down here and somebody up here had a fire.
Mhm.
And when they came in and put the fire out, it just about destroyed my basement apartment.
Oh,
And she was displaced. She had to go pay her own self to stay. She had to stay with family, friends. She was out of that apartment for about 6 weeks. And the apartment complex was not doing anything to help her. So I put her in touch with Cold Spring Township trustee, Lois Osinski, to see if she could help temporarily to get her someplace. And now, again, whether or not that was discrimination, I don't know, but I felt for her. She's a young girl, worked a full-time job and just trying to do the right thing and live her life, and she was displaced, and they weren't going to reimburse her for anything that she lost. She had photos, she showed me everything, and so I told her she could go to Victims Advocate with the county, which is right here, the prosecutor's office, I believe, which would be in the courthouse here in Michigan City. And then, like I said, Lois was kind enough to help, said send her in. So she went to Lois for help too, because I believe that Lois, as a township trustee, may have more of an ability to do something about the apartment complex, following up with those that were displaced, because it was not something that they did. So,
right. Good.
so, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. When these are coming in, are we asking, and I don't know, that's fine, let me ask you. Are you asking if, if they feel that they've been discriminated against in the, okay,
We have an intake form.
okay.
We have an intake form, and that's first, what, obviously, has this happened in the last 90 days? And is it housing? Is it employment? And then is it within Michigan City District? Because I believe the ordinance was to protect the citizens of Michigan City. So today we had somebody come in from LaPorte. She lived in LaPorte but works in Burns Harbor. But I listened to her because I didn't want to say, I'm sorry, I can't help you, because that's not what they want to hear.
Right.
So I did spend 30 minutes with her and took her information, and then I called the EEOC, Jeremy Sells, he's our contact, when she left, and asked him some questions and got her, that I can reach back out to her. But so at times if they're telling me their story, and I may say, could you tell me how you feel that you were discriminated? Which one would you check here? So.
Yeah, we can assist them in filling out the forms, send it down to email.
But I mean, yes, they have to tell me how they were discriminated. And Sojourner I can speak to, because she used to work in that office as well. So, am I explaining it correctly? So.
I wonder, I don't know if I've ever seen that form. I wonder if we could have a copy.
You certainly can.
Just,
You sure can.
just to look at.
And then
Yes,
next month, we
yes.
can have it in the packet, so everybody
Yeah.
can see what the
You sure
complaint
can.
form.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
You see it when you do the probable cause
Right.
committees, because
It's the very first
It's
page
filled
that I
out.
fill out.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
well, then I have seen it, because I've done some probable cause cases. So we haven't had any probable cause cases
Not yet.
come up.
And majority of the time, the charging party is not following through with getting their information back to me for our next step.
Yeah, your hands are tied.
So, yeah. It's interesting though, that's for sure.
Any other questions, comments? All right, well, we are at adjournment. All right? And I thank you all for coming.
But I'll be here next month, so we have a quorum.
Yes.
July 5th, it's a little tricky.